about defining a meeting process. You need to define the business rule. Okay, same happen for your assignment also. For this particular given assignment problem, you need to go and brainstorming the defining the business rule from each of the role. Okay, like you have the entity, like the farmer, maybe you have the administration, then farmer, what farmer can do, okay, what are the things that can be performed by the distributor, okay, what are the things that can be performed by the retailer, and then the last one will be the consumer. At least your different problem over there, you have a farmer, distributor, retailer, and also consumer, maybe included one of the owner account or the programmer or the administrator. At least you have five rule over there, 5 entity over there. So each of the entity, you need to define the role, what they can done, what they can do. Okay. So only you write down the rule, the business rule, the policy that you have it in your during, only then you can start to do a coding. Only then you can start to do the structure, using a structure. So that's why today we are moving on using an array together with a structured data type. Okay? So most of the programming language they have a structured data type. Okay? So we quickly go there and look at how can we go and store our data back to our structure variable. Okay, structure variable. So look at your code. Under the lab number 6, over there. So lab number 6 for this one. After you cover all these things, for lab number 6, you can start to do your program already. Okay. So for the lab number 7, there will be the access modifier. Then 8 and 9, 8 will be for the front end designs already. So I mean that you wanted those who are focused on writing a back-end code, you should go and focus and design the business rule together with your member. Only then you can write your back-end code. Okay? So today for the lab number 6, we wanted to focus on the array together with the data structure. Last week you already covered about the array. There is a push and pop function. So then we will go and cover about using the mapping and also the message message over there together with the address. Only then we are coming to sending a leader. So then I will also give the extra thing how to deploy a contract from the testnet from the remix over there. So these are the few questions, few solve program that we're going to do. Okay, I try to skip this point because in your assignment we don't focus on the point, we don't do any ERC20 and so on. So now from here, as you can see, the objective we wanted to use struct and array, okay, data type in our solidity. Then we also have learned about the address already, you learned, but just the address is not enough because sometimes we are using the mapping with the address, then we are returning a value for that. Okay, so we also will going to have the how to write the back-end code to have a log the event, so we can push back our data back to your front end for your application level listener over there. So they have a meet the event. So how to create an event. So for the rest of the for other programming languages are the same. So the structure inside can compose other data type of the group of related data, can be refined by the single or meaningful or corrective name. This is a common definitions of the struct. Okay? So then the individual element of the truck can be accessed using a dot notation. So we are using dot notation to refer, okay, refer to the member inside a truck over there. So now here I have a sample of code over here. This is a part 1, this is a part 2. So let copy part 1, after that copy the part 2, these two part of the code inside your remix. Then I will going to explain to you what is this about. So instead of I'm going to type on the spot, because type on the spot is really wasted our time, okay? So that's why what I need to do, I need to come back to our remix. So we need to understand how to using a truck together with the array. So usually we are work with your Duran problem. Definitely you need to have a truck together with the array one. So the sample over here we are using as to do, okay? So actually this is my sample to record down what I need to go to perform. So then under the contract over here, just a simple name. So I call it as to do dot so, okay? To do dot so. So then what I need to do here is I'm going to copy the code. Okay? So from here. This side. Okay. I copy. Let all of you copy in that. Only then I'm going to explain to you what happened and so on. Okay. And you're going to learn a method. So actually I also entered in a comment over there. So for those who are late or you can refer to it, okay? For that, I copy and paste the two parts from here. Okay, now definitely not enough yet now, so SPDX license. Okay, so I'm going to do 8.0 at least. Okay. So So if you look at this particular code over here, I have defining a contract or a contract called to do's. Okay, this is a contract. So that I have defining a truck, usually truck, and the truck, the new data type. Okay, I'm defining a new truck, the truck called to do over there. So I have a to do, this particular structure name, the structure name called to do, and inside I have a two member. This two member with a different data type. Okay, so to do is a data type, is a truck special data type composed with others member. So usually over here we call it as a member. Okay? Usually we call it as a member. So from here I have a text. And then I have a complete from here. This particular, and one is a string. Okay, one is a string. one is a Boolean value. What is the purpose? You must know what is the purpose. You need to have this truck data type. You can copy and paste from a lab number 6. Okay? Lab number 6 over there. No need to type. Okay? No need to type. We go and understand the code and how to call it over slide number 2, number 4. Okay? Lab number 6, 4 over there. So over here you can see that I'm using the structure data type. This is a structure, same as here. The structure data type over here, I'm going to define as an array. As an array. Okay? It means that I will have this state variable. Over here, this is the state variable. This is the state variable as usual. So to do child task, this is a mid-child task, the task that I need to be performed. Okay? So that's why over here that to do child task, I'm using a truck data type called to do and I make as an array. So my intention to create this truck is because mid-child in this semester I got a task, I got setting exam paper lah, setting midterm test paper lah, then whether I completed or not, for example. So I have this kind of task. So the Boolean completed over here is indicated whether the task has been complete or not. So by default, so I make it as a false because Boolean complete definitely is false one by default value. So that's why I have a very simple idea telling you that I do recording. I'm doing recording all the tasks that I need to be performed. Okay? So that's why over here our state variable I'm defining as an array. So in this case, my state array, my child, my to do, child, task, you have this format. Okay? You have this structure. Whatever I add, any kind of first task. So you can see over here. So now I scroll up and scroll up my this particular function. First thing, you need to know that you go and create a task, create a first task. What does this mean here is I have a tree where when you put an initial value, how to add the data inside this truck data type state variable, that is a tree where, okay? So over this side, I pass it in a task. For example, my first task is set midterm test paper, for example. So second thing is moderate practical test paper. So this is a task. So then last one is mark assignment. So for example, I have 3 tasks over there, but over here I only allow to passing. Due to this one, I'm only passing data task by task, create a task by task. So in here, I'm passing my second, let's say I'm setting the midterm test paper over here. So you're assuming that I'm passing the set midterm test paper when I create. So I wanted to add my data back to the state variable, which has been defined as a to-do structure with the array. So in this case, you can see that this is my input data, okay? According to my member, because my member, this is the member number index 0, this is the member number index 1. So according to the order of the, according to the order that I'm defining my member inside my truck, so I will go and give the index, I will go and give the input data for the text first. After that, I have a comma, I put it as a Boolean because Boolean false value because the second data that I have it recording. So the data type over here is to do. Okay? The data type here is the to do. Then I push the entire thing back. So push is an add. Append the data inside my this to do child task. So that's why you were able to see in my array, I will have this one, this particular index array number 0 over here. I will have the set midterm test, and then after that I have another one called false value. Okay, for this text, and then for the complete. So for these two things, so index number 0 over there, unadded. So if you go and have a look over here, this is the first method. I'm using a push. I did not indicate my member. I based on the order of the members, okay, based on the defining of my members over here, based on the sequence, I put in the text and then false over that. So this is the first method, okay, calling it like a function. So for the second method is you are using a mapping value. So this mapping value is telling you that, okay, inside the to-do here, inside your structure over there, you have a text, you have this text member, and then you want this text member to have this value, to have this input value, then comma, then inside your truck member called completed, then inside this completed member, you wanted to have the value called false. So you have clearly telling to the node, okay, the member inside your truck, what are the data that should be assigned to the member, okay? What is the data that need to be assigned to the member of your truck called to do, and then you're using the push, then use the dot in front over here is your state variable. Okay, you define and you store back. Okay, so this is a second method. Okay, so this is the first method, this is the second method. I'm showing you, okay, different method. Okay, so this is the first method, this is the second method to do. Now, so now this is the third method over here. This one is the third method. The third method here is you are going to create a new structure. You created a new structure, okay? So sorry, you created a new variable. I can say that new variable, new local variable, and this to do here you can see lowercase one. So this new local variable, you define it as a memory because temporary only. This is a local variable. Local variable. So this local variable have the data structure, have a data type of to do. Mean that this variable also can have these two space. So then you say that, okay, under this local variable dot text, you wanted to store the input data. You want to store the input data coming from the front end. You pass it in, and then to do this local variable to do dot text got this input data. So later on, you can see that you are push. You're only mentioning the local variable. The entire of the local variable, you're going to append it back to your state variable. You append it back to your state variable. So this is a tree method. So I hope you understand for that. So now, after this, same thing from here. When you want called to do, actually you are the array. You are belong to the array over here. Okay? So just like over here, okay, text number 2, you have this one, moderate practical test paper. Then completed is false. Okay? So third element, you have a text called text. Text is marking assignment. So that's completed also equal to false. This is the example. So you created this part for it. I already said your assignment definitely you need to use the track. You definitely you need to use the array because your farm does not only have one durian, you have many durian, and the durian you have a durian ID, durian name, and so on. So the ID can be the address and so on. So this is the part. So now, after done this one, you wanted to retrieve your data. Okay, you want to get back your data, what you have inside. So definitely you're passing down your index number. You need to passing down this index number over there. Only then you can retrieve your data stored inside the array for the track to do. So now you can see that over this side, I will have the index. You can see over here, I'm using the index called to do. You are not retrieve the entire of the array. You are retrieving one of the elements only. But inside the elements, inside the index number for that particular element that have many data. Here I only got 2 members only, text and complete. So as you can see over here, I created a local variable. This is the local variable. And this local variable, I need to define it as a storage. Because I'm using this local variable, just this one like a pointer. If you learn about the C language, this one is like a pointer. You're using this local variable, okay, this name, okay, this pointer or this local variable can point back to your location here. Point back to your locations of your to-do child task according to your index number that you given. Let's say I'm given the index number is 1. Let's say I'm given the index number is 1. So this to-do child will point back to the index number 1 over here and do retrieve. That's why over here you need to define. You need to define as a storage. Okay? Because this local variable you're going to record it down. Okay? What is the data that you are retrieving from? Okay? You are accessing this local variable is accessing to the storage. Storage from where? From this particular data type to do data type. Okay? So that's why you can see that after you're able to retrieve the data, only then you can do return. Okay? I'm using this particular to do dot text and to do dot complete to return the data back to the front end. So I want you to take notes from here. Okay? Take notes from here. You are retrieve the data from a state variable. And state variable location is at the storage. Okay? You are not able to define it as a memory. You need to point back to the storage there. Okay? So same thing now. Next one, go for the next function here. Okay? Go back to the next function. It's the same as what I have been mentioned just now. Let's say this is update your list. This is used to update your list. Let's say under your setting your midterm test paper, okay, I typo error. So this particular task I wanted to update it. The task, this particular task, I want to update it. Instead of setting a midterm test paper, I want to update the text to become marking midterm test paper. So for example, I said that marking midterm test paper. So I want to update the content inside this state variable under the array of index 0. So that's why I passing in my index 0, and then I passing in for the latest string that I wanted to have is a marking midterm test paper over there as a memory because it's a string. So when I'm passing in, first I need to retrieve back to the location. So that's why I will passing in my index number over this side is a 0. So I said that to do child task, look for an index 0 for this location. Based on where? Based using which pointer or which location we are using. I'm using to do this particular, to do this local variable, point back to this location. Okay? I'm using this to do point back to these locations, and then I'm going to assign the text and assign this marking midterm test paper to become to do dot text. Okay, assign back to the to do dot text over there. So that's why we're going to update this one, okay, to become this one. This one will be updated over here already. Okay, based on here. So no need to do any return because over here I don't do any return. So this one, the last one is much more simple because I wanted to change. I wanted to change the complete status. You can see that by default all the tasks, all the things that I need to be complete, the value is a false value. I want to change the false value to become true value because it's completed the task. So in this case, I'm passing in the index number and then I will refer it. As you can see, I also make it as a storage for this local variable. Point back to the location that you wanted to have based on the index number, and then I said that not complete. You can see not false. Based on here, my completed value is false. Not false is equivalent to true. That is the reason why I assign back to do complete. Okay, I assign back to the do complete. This is the part for that. So that's why I'm using this local variable, or we call pointer, point back to your location. And make sure define as a storage. So I completed for the explanation from here. Let us go and run on that. So in here, because here got three way of initial a track. So I need to make it as a command, because if I'm going to input one task, the task will be go and append it into the state variable more than one time. They will append it 3 times over there. So that's why I will go and make this particular task to be maybe I'm using the first method. So in this case, I'm going to use this symbol, block symbol, maybe until here, the whole thing. I'm going to make it as a command. I make it as a block command. Okay? I only use the most simplest method, push method, indicated my structure. Okay? My structure. Okay? And then just based on the order of my member to put in my data in. So the another 2 method, I make it as a command there. look for a deploy it. So once I deploy it, you will able to see here you have a task over there. So first thing, because you can see my to-do task, okay, to-do child task here, the child task over here, I make it as a public. So that's why you can see if I give any index 0 over there, okay, you won't able to retrieve any data because you have no data yet inside your array. So that's why you give the index 0 over here. Actually, the virtual machine will be revert back. He cannot find. That is the error for that. So in this case, I must go and create the task. So by creating the task, I only need to key in I need to give the input value for the task that I need to do it. For example, just now I said that set midterm task paper. Okay. Set midterm task paper, I add it. Okay. So successfully over there. So now if I go and retrieve my task again, as you can see, you will able to see this will be the text. You can see that. Okay, I've given you the member. Okay, the member name set midterm test paper. The second member is a complete. That is a false. You can see there is an array to record down your data type, your boolean value. This is the task for that. Okay, so let me go and set another task for it. So I'm going to have a second task like just now I said review moderate practical question. Okay, moderate practical question paper. Okay, so I create a second task. So over here I should have already, because I did not go and return the length. At the same time, you can return the length of this to-do track because that is an array over there. So it's completed for that. So now moving on, if you are going to have an index number 1, so you will able to see that it's entered in. So this one also, the getting function that just now I have been given over here is the same. You have a getting function from here. This one, you also need to pass it in the index number. I won't go and return everything, not logically to return everything, okay, to the front end if you need to have so based on what you need. So now after this, I'm moving on to update a new task. Okay, instead of going to do that. So let's say I'm accidentally I make mistake on my first task. Okay, task index number 0. By right is instead of setting the midterm test is marking the midterm test. So in this case, I want to demo for you how can we go and update the task using the storage over this side. Okay, using this one, update the new task. Okay, update the new task or update the task. I should not call as a new task. So that's why I need to pass it in my index number and then the new task for that index number. So in this case, I'm coming to my program again and go down from here. So I'm going to pass it in my update my task. So I'm going to click over here to make it easily for me to input. So the first input parameter will be the index number. So I want to update my index number, element number 1, index 0. So I wanted to update to become marking midterm task paper. Okay, marking midterm test paper. So original is setting midterm test paper. Now I'm going to change it become a marking midterm test paper to prove you that this particular to-do chart, local variable can point back to your structure there. So that after this, you will able to see that you will have this particular value. So marking midterm test paper will be updated accordingly. Okay. So then I wanted to make my marking midterm test paper from the complete is a false. I want it to be changed become true. So in this case, I need to pass it in the program, the complete action. I need to give the index value. So I give the index number 0. I press enter, and you can see that I have been successful created, execute the function. When I call this function, you will see that the completed value is become a true value. Okay? So this is the part for the track. Any problem for that? Can or not? Or no problem for your structure? It's different, slightly different is because you need to define the storage. You are defining the storage over here. This one. You go for that. Okay? So this one, you need to do it. Exercise number 1, you need to do it because later on we are going to under your exercise number 2, you are using back your answer in your exercise number 1 and 2 mapping. Okay? You do mapping, how to use the mapping to retrieve the data. Okay? So I give you few minutes. Okay? Now is almost 45. So use 10 minutes to create this simple structure, simple contract using data structure. So once you put this code, make sure you keep it first, and then you're going to use it for later on for the exercise number 2. Go and understand for that. Use the array and track data type in a smart contract. So create a smart contract called my contract struct, and then create a user defined data structure called person. Inside the person data type, you have the attribute or member called first name and last name, at least these 2. So then after that, you create a one-state variable called people. The people will keep track the bunch of different persons by using a person structure data type with the array public. So then you also created one of the state variable called people count because you wanted to count the internal count of people entered inside the array. Okay? So then you can have a function. You can see that you can have a function called add person as a public modifier, allowed to have an input parameter to add the person name, so the first name and last name, and keep the internal count of the people entered inside the array. Do it now. Minutes. everything. It's can. Okay? So I need to move on now. So I hope I can keep the 12 minutes for looking for these assignments. Discuss for your assignment for your Durant one. So now I'm moving on from this. This is the answers, almost like this. I don't go and compile it and so on. The logically you should know what should be do. And I will have the count people over here, initial as a 0 here. Then I will have a people count plus once we enter the person push back to the array for these people. Okay, then you will store for that. Why I need to have this part over here? Okay? So let me cover a bit from the behind, enter the address and so on first. So consider we have completed this exercise. So last week already mentioning to you we have the address, we have an address table. So defining the address table, you can transfer and send, you have an additional member called transfer and send. So now we're going to look for the address, data structure, and that is the balance and also transfer. So now, how we're going to use checking the balance of the account and transfer a money from the account. Okay? So now, this is a sample. You go and copy this address. You copy this one up. Copy this date. This part, the whole date, single one. Copy and paste it onto a remix. Then I will going to demo for you the account demo. So from here, this one exercise later on you download. We are going to use this one also one. So then I will have the account demo dot show. Okay, so I give you 5 minutes break. Okay, 5 minutes. Those who are not finished your exercise number 1, go and finish your exercise number 1. Okay, those already finished exercise number 1, you already copy and paste under the account demo. Then I will go and discuss for that how to use it. So we continue for this part. From here. So look for this particular demo. How can we use the address together? Okay, under the address over here. First of all, your account. Okay? Your contract got the address. I already told you the contract address. That is the address for that. So now listen what is mean here. Look at here. The purpose that I wanted to show you here is how can we go and refer to the balance of the, I want to cover this one. I want to cover this balance. Okay? Balance of the address account in a way. So, as I said, beside the people, beside the EOA account got the balance, the contract itself, the contract also got the balance. You can transfer the money inside your contract. Okay? So this is how we transfer a money inside the contract, and then we can check the balance for it. Okay? So not necessarily must be the money must be from the Ali transfer to Abu transfer to Ahmad. Not necessary. You can have a money transfer to your contract account. Okay? You can have a money inside your contract account, and how to use the money inside your contract account also can. Okay? So that's why from this particular exercise, you can have a look over this side. First of all, inside the account demo contract over here, I will record down who is the deposit, who deposit money to me. And remember over here, I did not declare as an array. I only make it as a simple things. Okay? So that's total amount of the money that he had been deposit. Okay, deposit amount. So then the account balance. The account balance here is I'm going to retrieve back the balance of my contract. So you can see that from here, I will go and define this particular deposit. Okay? Deposit function, and make this deposit function as a public payable transfer either. Okay? So then I can have I will record down who are the one who deposit the money to the contract. That's why I will have an MSG.sender deposit. And then how much that he deposit inside, that is a MSG.value. So later on we're going to see our deposit amount that he have it. Then after this, I'm going to referring back to what is the total balance that we have, and the address this. The address, then I will bracket this, is referred to the contract address, not the EOA account, not the user EOA account balance. I want to check my balance for that. Okay, now you can have a look give you the idea for this part. So now, no need to compile already compiled successfully. Then I go and delete this, deploy the contract. Then I coming back to here, deploy contract. So I'm using the first account. Okay, first account is the owner of this. Okay, so I'm go and be as deploy. Okay, my contract over here is only got one function. Okay, so I only got deposit function. As you can see over here, this side, you learn about MSG this global variable. It's globally retrieve your data from the blockchain info, not your inside here. Okay. So same thing, MSG.value is retrieve your either value, how much you pass it in. how much value that you're passing in. So from here, you were able to see that now I'm using this account. I'm going back. Everyone have a look. Look at the front here before you're going to demo for your site. So you look at my site here because now you need to record down your MSG dot value. Let's say I'm using the second account. My second account is 35CB2. Inside I got 100 either. Okay? So now this is the value. Do you see the value, this icon here? How much you wanted to pay? Okay? So for example, even though here I'm mentioning I wanted to pay 2, I change the measurement. I change the measurement. The way one I change to the either. I change to 2 either. I want to pass it in 2 either from this. Let's say the second account, this is an Ali account, okay, into my contract. Okay, into my contract. So that's why I'm setting it already. That's why I'm going to have the deposit. Okay, so if you go and see over my contract over here, that is a successful from here. Okay. So, successful of transferring a value over this side. Okay, you can see this is a 2. After that, behind got a 18.0 there with the measurement. At MSG dot value is a wave format. It's a wave, the smaller measurement. They won't put it as a 2 either. No such thing. No such thing. So that's why you can see that this account over here already deducted more than 2. Is 100 minus 2 is 98. But you need to include the paying the gas fee. Am I right? So now you can see over here, looking at the account balance. Your account balance is in the wave, as I said. They are in a wave format. As inside the contract over here is on the wave format. So then your deposit amount also the same thing, because the one who are deposit, the person, the Ali is deposit inside your account is 2 either. And currently the balance of the money inside your contract also 2 either. Okay? So then who deposit? This is the Ali address. Okay? This is the Ali address. So I do not keep track every deposited person account address over here. I make it simple. Okay, I don't want you to confuse. If you want to say, Amisha, I want to record down every person who are deposit the money inside this contract. So then I need to create the array, or you create a structure array. Okay, to record down the person detail information. So now, next things I'm moving on. Assuming now I'm going to the third account. I'm using the third account. From here, this third account here, let's say this is Ahmad. So Ahmad said that I wanted to transfer a leader. You must be fill up the value here, because based on the MSG dot value here, you need to passing in the value. You can see this MSG dot sender, MSG dot value is not the input parameter. There is a global variable. You no need to ask the user to have the input text box to fill up, because these 2 data are coming from your MetaMask. Get what I mean now? You assume your MetaMask will passing in the data. Your data is not inside your web page. Okay, it's not inside your web page. Then you have the this particular input text field or fill up the value there. No, if your web page, if your front end web page, you have the text box, you have the text field, then you have the parameter passing in there using a variable in the front end to record down the input data, then you calling the function, then that is the part. Okay? But this one is you directly using the caller, who calling this function. who calling this function. When the person who calling these two functions, you can passing in the person, because when you calling this function, you have this address, and you can also set the value. Okay, your front end need to have these two. Okay, you need to indicate these two there, but this is not parameter. That again is not the input parameter. So that's why again. So now, assuming now I change to the Abu already. Abu is the third address over there. So you can say Abu going to send in a 50 either. Okay, 50 either alone, 50 either. So that's what he go and do. He's setting this value, assuming these two value already set. So I'm going to deposit. So when you go and deposit, you can see the 50 either has been passing in inside your contract. So if you can see the account balance here is the 52 either already. So then you can see the deposit amount. Remember, this deposit amount is referred to the current EOL person account, mean that is an Abu. So this is an Abu address. Abu have been passing in the 50 either into my contract. So my contract inside got this amount of money, 52. So I added up. You can see over here, this side. Okay? You can see over here, I'm using this balance, dot balance. The address that I'm referring to the contract of this, not your MSG dot value. Okay? MSG dot sender for that. There is no point for you. First thing, there is no point for you. You wanted, if you said, Anisha, I wanted to check MSG dot sender balance. Yes, you're just using this MSG sender dot balance. If you wanted to look at Ahmad, what is the Ahmad value? Let me know. Hold on, Hold on, So, are you using MSG dot sender dot balance? Okay, so run again. So now I added additional is a depositor balance. I want to retrieve what is the money that have it inside the Ahmad, Abu or Ali account there. Okay, so this one is this is the contract address for that. So that's why I added these two lines. So I go and deploy it again because I added some info already. So now I deleted, I go and deploy it again. So now I go and refresh it to make sure that I get the new value there. So then you can see that the values that we have. Okay? So then I coming back to here. All the account is 100 either. So from here, I'm just using the first account to do a deployment, to deploy my contract. So I'm going to have open back my contract open back my contract account demo there. So then I go and looking at deploy. I'm going to have a deploy using the account number 1, just the owner account, okay, the programmer account. So then I will have this one over here. So now assuming that this is I'm using a change to the second account. So I'm using the second account as Ali. Let's say this is the second account of Ali. So Ali wanted to transfer 50, 50 make it much 50 either. Okay, instead of weight, either you can see the value bigger, so you can see the differences from that. No, not 50, 60, you can see the balance, 60, 60 either from that. Okay, I transfer. So if 50, 50, you can't see, cannot really see the differences. So I'm setting as a 60 either. Definitely it's more than enough already, even though I do not set for that. I don't do any checking for that. So should be enough. So then after this, okay, after this, I go and deposit. Okay. So once it's deposit, let me check the contract over here. It's successful. So now I'm checking the account balance. Remember, this account balance is referred to the contract address. It's a 60. So then the deposit amount. So Ali have been added, given transfer 60 either. That one is 60. So now this one is the depositor balance. So meaning the Ali account still got how many money? Okay. So that's why you can see this is the 39999999658. So this money is referred to the same as your Ali over here. 3999998 something like that over here. Okay? Can see it now. So you just based on the address you can retrieve back the balance of the deposit using MSG. So who deposit? This is the address that is used to deposit the money. Can get the idea from that? Using MSG dot value. Transfer either transfer send money and so on is not created internal passing value one, not the input parameter. It's using MSG dot value. You want to check the balance using balance. Okay? You can check the balance of your contract, check the balance of your EOA account, and so on. Okay? Now, my dear, looking at this side. Look at here. I do second passing, come up, have a look. Why Michelle did not inside the contract to do testing, to have a validate? And Michelle, why you inside you don't have an if condition? Check the person, the money, whether enough to transfer to the contract or not. I no need to check because this will be checked by the MetaMask already. Why I'm saying so? So from here, I'm using the third account. I'm using the third account. As you see that the third account is only got 100 either. And then you say that, oh, I wanted to set the money. I want to set the money here is 400 either. You only got 100 either. How you can transfer 400 either over that? Impossible. You're not even can come into the code. You not even can come into this deposit function code. You never able to execute from that. They won't go and charge you money. So that's why you can say, I'm going to call this function. Let us have a look. Okay, I call this function, and you can see the deposit is error. You look at the message over there. Telling you, transact to the account deposit error. Sender does not have enough fund to send the transaction. You can see over that side. So that is giving you an error over there, and you will be able to see over this side. Over here, the Ahmad, the third account still got 100. Get me now? Even though you click on the function called deposit, okay, you can see now 100. I set 400. I click on the deposit. Error over there already, and you can see the money still 100. They won't go and deduct because this is an over variable. They already checked for you. You did not able to transfer 400 because your account only got 100 either. Get what I mean? Okay? Okay, so that is the reason why inside here I do not have the if statement. I don't check whether the person EOA account got enough money to transfer it into my contract account or not. I don't do that kind of checking. I do that kind of checking, it means that I will have the extra code. I will go and pay extra money. Get the idea? So now moving on. Okay, so this is the slide telling you the MSG.sender is referred to your account, MSG.value from here. So same thing from the front end also, okay? We are using that. And then you're using this to do, okay, now. This one is, okay, now. This one is you transfer money inside your contract. This one is you transfer a money. You, your guy, us, all of us can transfer the money inside the contract. Okay, we can have a deposit like this way. Okay, we have a balance inside my contract to keep track how much inside, how much of money that we have inside the contract. Now, next one over here is address payable and explicit conversion for address payable. This part is I wanted to show your things is over here is we wanted to transfer a money from my account to you. Okay, so in this case I must be passing, in this case because here got two address. One is the sender address. So MSG.sender is the address that I wanted to send the money, because when you imagine when you click on the send, when you wanted to buy product, when you this one function buy product, okay, I want to buy this product. So when you want to buy this product, I as a buyer, I click on buy product, I must be transfer the money to the seller, to the receiver. Am I right? So in this case, from the function buy product over here, I must be passing the address for who should receive the money. Because now the money is not keep inside the contract. It's transferred between two. It's transferred from one EOA account to another EOA account. So that's why you can see over here, I have this particular call to receiver. So I need to pass it in. I need to pass it in who should receive the money. So from here, I'm going to make my MSG.sender to become payable, because I want original MSG.sender is not for you to transfer money from one account to another account. So I must be make it as payable. Okay? So then I make it as this address is become the buyer. So if you say that Michelle now, why I'm checking from this condition is I wanted to make sure, okay, the buyer dot balance is greater than 10 either. You can see I directly using, instead of using the way, I'm using the way. I'm not using way, I'm directly using the either. I need to make sure, okay. Even to say, Michelle, just now you say, well, when we calling the value, setting the value, if the product is 20 either, and you want to keep your balance, you want to check whether the buyer have enough money or not. Actually, already done by the MetaMask. Yes, it's correct. But maybe certain condition you say that, okay, I want to, after he done the transactions already, I want to make sure he still got money inside the buyer balance there. So that's why you have this condition called buyer.balance. So is it is greater than or equal to 10 either? If the condition is correct, then you allow him to transfer the money from the buyer account, MSG.value. Remember, MSG is referred to the MSG.sender. Value transfer. This is a transfer to the receiver. This is the receiver address. Okay, idea. Okay, now I have give you the sample over here. Without wasting time, you go and copy the sample number 1. Okay, sample number 1 from here. So without wasting time, I just wanted to make this particular account demo. I just delete this account demo and paste my sample 1 over here. Okay? So I don't want to create multiple contract. Okay? I'm still calling as an account demo so far. Okay? So let me see here. I want to do things faster. I delete this one. Function variable truck modifier as expected. Okay. So I just copy and paste over here. As you can see, over this side, I got 2 addresses. If you just now you compare to just now, Mitchell, just now from the transfer money to the contract, I do not need to have an explicit conversion. I don't need to have an explicit conversion to convert the MSG.sender the address to become payable. You know it because the money you bank inside the contract. But if you say that you wanted to transfer the money from one account to another person's account, you need to be an explicit conversion to indicate your address is payable. So that's why you can say I got the buyer address, make it as a payable, and easy for me to check for the address and make it as a public, let you see. And the seller also as a payable. So buyer transfer money, seller receive money. Okay, so 2-person account. So over here I got function called buy product. So if you imagine somebody go, if the buyer wanted to buy the product, I will click on buy function. I will click on this buy product function. Not the seller click on the button. It's the buyer who want to buy the product, he will click on this function. And inside your front end, you should have who is this. This product is belong to who. You should record it down already. Am I right? You should have a recorded down this product is belong to this person, the owner of this. Just like previously I said the Ali got the Lelong house. Am I right? So you should record down this product is belong to this person address. So that's your front end, you're passing in the address to the over this side. So as you can see now, I come into here without wasting time. I go and deploy it. I'm using the first account. I just using the first account to do deployment, to deploy it. Now, I have the contract over here already. Why don't have connected? Sorry, I need to reboot it again. I need to reboot that because it's different things. The compiler and so on is different. Okay, reboot again. Okay, account contract over there. So then I'm using the first account to do deploy. So contract is here. Now, this one, buy product and sell product. Now, have a look again. So buy product address is empty, seller product, buyer address is empty, seller address also empty. So now what I need to do here is, now I'm copying. So I'm using the last address, assuming last address is the seller. Okay, I need to have this address. I copy, this is the address. 92148 is the seller. I copy this address first. You imagine your front end need to pass in this address. That is the reason why I copy this address. Then after this, I come it to the second address. Let's say which child is this address. Which child is belong to this address 35CB2. I'm using this address. And then over here, I will go and transfer. So then I will go and set the value. Let's say I want to transfer 4 either. This is my address. I'm the buyer. and I want you to transfer 4 either, okay, to the seller. So in this case, what I need to call, when I call buy product, I must give the address. This is the reason why I copy the address, I paste the address over here, and then I go and click buy. Okay? So logically, you can see that I got 100 minus 4, at least I got 95 point something because need to include the gas fee. So that's why the buyer, the last address will be increased. Okay? So will be 100 plus 4 become 104. So that's why I buy product, and you can see the transaction over here has been successfully. Okay? 4 either already transferred. The buyer is Miss Chow. The seller is this address. Buyer and seller, and you can see the account, money inside the contract here. This is the money that has been deducted from me, 4 either plus the gas fee. Okay? Then you can see the last account belonging to the seller one. You can see this money has been increasing 104 over that. Okay? So that is called transfer. Transfer is much more easily. Okay? I know I told you got 3 methods to send the either. 3 methods to send the either, like this way. Send from one person account to another person account. Got a transfer, got the send method and call method. This is one of the method over here. Okay? One of the method over here. Anyone don't understand the purpose of this code? Okay? I don't want to make very complicated. So for your assignment, if you say that you're doing the durian one, whether you need to transfer a leader or not, that is not the main focus. Based on your durian problem statement, that is the main important thing is a timestamp. Okay? The timestamp. So if you can see our durian here, because question said that you have the farm, you have a farmer row, you have a few row, farmer, distributor, retailer, and consumer. Together, don't forget your owner account, your owner row, or we call it as an admin. Okay? So you need to ask this contract, I'm discussing your assignment, this contract, who is the one who owns this contract? Is it one of the farmer here, distributor, or you wanted to be general? Here got an admin. Admin are the one who own this contract. Okay? So then admin need to add who is the farmer, who can use this contract. So your farmer got the address, maybe got the name. Let's say this farmer called farmer A. Okay? Farmer A. Then here is a farmer B. So how many farmers that you wanted to have? Okay? Farmer B and so on, and farmer C. What is the address for the farmer? Okay? So you need to define the structure for that. If you say, Anisha, I don't want to make it so complicated, I only assume I got one farmer. Fine, not a problem. I got one farmer, that is a farmer name, farmer address, so you need to make it as a structure variable for that. So then the admin can add the distributor. Can add one distributor, can add more than one distributor. So what are the data that you need to keep for the distributor and also retailer and also the consumer? Okay? So admin can create this few row. Okay? Admin can create this few row. So in the farmer A, he have a durian. Remember, based on that, they have a different type of durian tree. So based on the question, it says that the durian got durian tree ID. Okay? So the durian got durian tree ID, and then the durian type. This durian is referred to a D24 type of durian. So your durian got durian ID. Durian ID. So look at the truck over here. You can see that this is only the examples. You see that I got the durian. So I want to have a durian address. So he go and put a durian address. He don't go and put, oh, which one can I make it simple? The durian ID, I make it as 1, okay, value is 1, 2, 3, can or not? Or I want to have a A1, A2, A3, can or not? It's can, not a problem. So remember, this durian, if you make your durian address as an address data type, you must be put something value there, and you need to go and call the KECC 256, this particular function, the crypto function, to generate the address for you, to generate the byte 32 address for you. Because you cannot use the normal EOA address, you cannot use the normal EOA address to become the durian ID, get me now? So you call this function to generate the value, that value become the address of durian. Or you can make it much more simple. Micha, I don't want to make it so complicated. Can I make it as an unsigned integer durian ID or not? Yes, not a problem. Question don't mention what is the data type you must be have. Okay? So then you have a durian type like D24 Mosang King and so on. So then the durian, the farm info, that's the thing that you can see. I have a farm info, but I made it as a durian farm. Why I created another track over here? So now I assuming I got farm A, farm B, farm C over there. So that I wanted to have a farm, durian farm. The durian farm got the address. So each of the durian farm that they have a tree address, the tree address, then the durian will be indicated when the durian already harvest, the date and the time, the durian drop, and then you can correct it already. It's already massed up, okay, the durian, okay. So when these durian are passing to the distributor center, so if you can see under my durian here, I'm keep tracking for the farm information, distributor information, retailer information, and also the consumer information. So one durian, and as you can see over here, I don't talk about pricing. I don't say that, oh, this price, how much for this durian and so on. It's up to you where you wanted to define the price. If you say that I want to define the price, the farmer here can set the price. Then the distributor can set the price. That is your own assumption. Based on the question durian problem statement, he wanted you to record down the date and time about when the durian harvest means that drop, when the durian passing to the distributor, when the distributor receives the durian and passing it to the retailer, and when the retailer passing the durian to the consumer. And at the last, consumer can go and give a rating. Rating means that, oh, maybe the durian is very yummy, creamy, tastes very good, bad. You go and define the attribute. What are the things that the consumer can give a rating? Okay, so your question there have it for that. So this is the example of using a traction for that. Okay, you can start to do your assignments already, even though I do not cover of your this sending a leader yet for that. Okay, so try. Okay, you must be go and brainstorming. Look for your each. You need to define each of the person what he can do, what the farmer can do, what the distributor can do, what the retailer can do, and what the consumer can do. So you list out the policy and the rule, then you can start to create the function based on the rule and policy that you given for that. Okay? Not complicated one, not complicated. Okay? Don't expect very complicated for that. So over here I have another sample of this sample number 2 over there. You can see that over here, the difference between sample 1 and sample 2 here is I'm using the buyer, okay? Instead of I'm using the payable, you can see over here, I make these two lines to become these two lines. You look at these two lines, I make it as a comment. I make as a comment is because of I don't want to keep track. I don't want to keep track this two-person address as a state variable. Okay? So I will over here same thing. I will passing in the receiver address, the seller address, and then I don't go and convert it over there. So I'm using the local variable. The address payable buyer, I'm going to define it inside the local variable. Instead of the state variable, I define it as a local variable. I'm still using address of this. The address of this here is referred to the buyer, the address that calling this function. Now I have to address this. The this here is not referred to the address of the contract anymore. The address this is referred to the buyer address. You are calling this contract. Okay? So that's also I will have the address to receiver dot, okay? To receiver, then after that I'm going to have the to receiver transfer MSG dot value. Remember, the front end is the address to receive the money. You no need to indicate who the buyer address already. Here you can see seller dot transfer MSG dot value is the address who I receive the money. I write the address in front. Because the MSG dot value, the MSG over here already keep the buyer address already. Have the buyer address already. You are using the buyer address value to transfer money to the seller. Okay? So this, the difference between this and this is, I do not use state variable. I want to use local variable. Do you think it's important to keep the buyer and seller address at your state variable or not? If you think that is important, then you put it on. Okay? You're using this method. Okay? So I done this. I hope you go back home, started to look for your rule and the policy already, and you started to define your structure. What are the things that can be having in each of the role over there? Okay? Then later on we will go and learn another one called mapping. This one mapping is also important, easily for you to retrieve a data much more faster instead of you are using looping. Don't use looping, don't use for loop to go for each of the array to retrieve your data. No. Using mapping is a faster method to get your data from the block. Okay? So we will go and cover this. Let me go and take your attendance. The one that I said, the exercise number 1, please go and record it down, download it inside your pen drive. We will go and continue for doing your exercise number 2. You can go and use for your exercise number 2 also. You go back home for time, go and do your exercise number 2. And we will come back and do discussion for that. Any other question? This one, TKU. More here. This one, Gan Hui Sung. This one, Leong Lai, LAI. This one, Lao, LAW, augmented already. Ali. Another, Li Xun Hai. Li Yun Kai. what?